Coach, if you can, just give us an opening statement and then we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, definitely not the way I think we wanted to play in that game, nor the way we wanted to send our players off for a little holiday break. But, the circumstances are what they are. Like I told our players in the locker room after, you're only losers if you don't learn from your losses. And so we're going to make sure that we learn and grow from this loss. Making excuses, like I tell our players, excuses are like, what holes, and everybody has them. They all stink. So I'm not going to make excuses that we were in finals or this and that. But, at the end of the day, our players, I thought we came to play and we played hard in the second quarter. I thought in the second half, we did some good things. I think that they outscored us in the second half really because we were scrambling and gambling. But I thought for 3 quarters of that game, we played pretty well. I think that first quarter really killed us and we just looked sleepy. We looked like, and to be honest, my fault as a coach, I didn't think they practiced that well this week in finals week. We looked pretty bad in practice building up to this. And that's what I told them afterwards. They can't think that they can practice poorly and then turn it on in a game. That's not the way life is. That's not the way it works. And I think that this team is still going to have some great basketball ahead of them. I think we're still going to do wonderful things in the ACC. And these are all the building blocks that we need to just learn and grow from to be the team that we're going to end up being at the end of the year.
Thanks, Coach. We'll open up for questions. Just a reminder, you can raise your digital hand. We'll call on you. We'll start things off with Dan.
Coach, you mentioned building blocks. I feel like the season, even though it's kind of moving at a ridiculously fast pace this year, it's still only 5 or 6 games in. So from a young team, not necessarily being young, I know you guys have a lot of experience, but as a young team just at this year, how do games like this just kind of prove that you say, all right, this is it, builds the thick layers before you get to come back after the holidays and push forward?
I think what it builds, and I say this about our team all the time, I really do. I never question their heart. They're going to play hard for each other. They're going to lay it on the line every time they can. But, at the end of the day, you got to make shots. You can't win basketball games if you miss shots or you make poor decisions on the offensive end. And today, especially in that first half, or in the first quarter, but even throughout sprinkled in, we didn't make the best decisions. And I think sometimes we went in and instead of finishing strong and doing the things we needed to against our size mismatch, we just sort of maybe relied, hey, we're going to get a foul call, or just threw some crazy things up. So I think the building blocks on this is that, they've got to play just a little bit tougher and a little bit smarter and, use this Christmas and holiday break to get up some shots on their own. And hopefully they can get in gyms. That's the crazy thing with COVID and get everybody kind of getting back to their spots is there's probably a pretty good chance that our players aren't going to be able to get into a gym, nor are they going to be able to get into a weight room. They're going to have to do things on their own, which we have things for them to do in those circumstances. And then again, maybe that's the break they need, because I promise you, we make shots in practice. We really do. I don't know why we're not making shots in games here, but we do shoot the ball much better than we're showing. We shoot more like the way we shot against NC State. That's what I get to see every day normally. Now this week, not so much. And, I guess that was an extension of what we looked like this week.
We'll go next to Emma.
Was that me? Sorry, Jason, you cut out a little bit there.
Yes, go ahead, Emma. Sorry.
All right. Hi, Coach. So you mentioned this a little bit. You touched on it a bit already. But so obviously with a little bit of a break coming up, you've got a little less than 2 weeks. How important do you think both the mental and the physical rest is for your players when, like Dan said, you've started out so fast?
Yeah, I always think getting to see your family is so important. We're lucky we have such a great environment that we love on each other enough that it's not like they're missing that love or that, affection from their family, because we do give that to each other. But there's just nothing better than getting to see your family over the holidays. And everybody, I think even people our age, need that comfort and love that. So I think that this is going to be the spark and the little break that they need. And body wise, they probably need it too, because we are a little bit shorthanded and playing a little bit of a smaller rotation. And, with how fast we try to play, that's taken a little toll on their bodies.
We'll go next to Tim.
Tim, I think you're muted.
Tim, I don't think your microphone's working. I see your mute button going on and off. Sorry, we can't hear you.
And I don't know sign language that well.
We'll go next to Dan.
Coach, and building in line with what you're saying, just about better shot selection, is it a matter of taking a couple of extra seconds to come up with a better shot, or is it, is time's ticking down an extra pass or two? Like, how do you know when you're looking at your team that, and you say, to make a better shot selection, how do you determine that with them when they're on the floor?
Right. I think sometimes, and this is the trick that I think this is why I coach, and what I'm supposed to do is figure out how I can get the players on the floor to really feel like they're all great shooters, but then also understand when to pass up a good shot for a great shot. And I think you saw today, because confidence is a big thing. So you can't tell a player that you see make shots every day, like, hey, don't shoot the ball, but you can always encourage them to pass up the good shot for the great shot. And, right now I think that we've fallen a little bit short of that at times. And I think that we out-hustle a lot of that. Like, we had 20 offensive rebounds in this game, but even on those offensive rebounds, like, that's what I told in the locker room, I think we took easily probably 15 shots in that game, if not 20, that had no chance of going in. And we have to get better at that shot selection. And that's a lot of IQ. And that's something that, again, as our coach, I need to get better at making sure I'm instilling them, but also them trying to take all of that preparation and what we go over and then put it into play when, like, the lights are on. Because I do think at times in practice we're much more patient than we were today. And I'm not sure, why we looked a little disheveled. I mean, certainly we got up 73 shots in that game. I mean, when you look at the stat sheet, I feel like it looks like we should have won the game. Yet we just didn't make shots. And we're great from the free throw line, so surely we can make shots. We just gotta find it. And that's what this 5 or 6 days off. That's what. I'm going to do some meditating about it, and they're going to come back. I know they're going to make shots. I can feel it.
We'll go back to Emma.
So on the broadcast, they mentioned that the average starting height of Syracuse's players was 6'1", and you guys were 5'10". How do you navigate the mismatch like that when there's such a big height difference?
And that's that kid inside. She played out of her mind today. So, kudos to Cardoza. I thought that their game plan against us, as far as hitting her on the roll and then camping her out, and she did a ridiculously great job of never staying in there longer than 3 seconds. Because, I was looking like I wanted them to call, but she did a great of pinning and stealing, and it was like right at that where it was almost too much time. They were lobbing it up, and just it seemed like out of our fingertips that we were almost to that pass. And, we made some adjustments leading into the second half on a little bit of the way we were guarding it, but I thought they just did a brilliant job finding her. So that's, great job on Syracuse's end, slowing the game down. Like they made the most of each of their possessions, and they really played that inside game well. And they took advantage of the fact that we are a little smaller. And at times we looked really smaller because I had like my 3 small guards in together. And again, that's what that 2-3 zone kind of forces you to do too, because you need your shooters in there, and my shooters are smaller. So all that, I hope that we can just keep growing from, and as time goes on, I thought our small lineup played gritty. It just, they made us pay.
We'll take one final question. We'll see if Tim's microphone's working. Tim, I'm sorry. We'll have to check that out for next time. So, Coach, thank you very much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Hopefully you see a new and improved BC women's basketball team here in the new year.